So it's just connecting there. Good. Yeah, it's recording. Good. So how do we as Kumon business owners develop a robust and flexible plan fully to address the situation and provide support to our clients? So the first issue is communication. I don't know how we're currently reaching our clients. Some people are maybe using MailChimp or Constant Contact, some other newsletter service. Some people are just doing email blasts with blank copying their clients. Some are using the Remind app. Some are updating on their e-page. I'm sure there are other ways that we reach our clients in emergency situations. There's a number of apps and texting services so that we can just blow a message. But the question that we all have to address at this point is is our communication adequate, or do we need to adapt it? And by the way, if you have questions as I go along, please use the chat. Manju notes that updating the e-page and voicemails are the minimum we should all do, and I quite agree. So we can discuss the e-pages. I know that not everybody has ease and comfort with updating e-pages. I think we all need to get there because this is, as Manju explains, this is kind of the minimum that we should be doing. And of course, having an accurate voicemail message that reflects that, yes, we do understand that we're in a crisis, and no, we don't have usual class hours. Our class is actually closed in terms of the physical class for the moment. You're welcome, Mommy. There's certainly help out there. Yes, you can use your FCs. This is what FCs are good at. Ask them, please, I don't understand how to update my e-page. And that's their job. They're there to help you. We pay their salaries with our royalties. So please use your FCs for what they're good at. So yes, communication, voicemails, e-page, and we should have some form of communication going out to all of our clients at this time, because people are very anxious and worried. In some places like Ontario, we've just had state of emergency declared. People, that's going to heighten the anxiety for our clients. So people need to know we're on top of it. We have a plan. And if we don't have a good communication plan, we need to develop one. So let's look at some things that we need to get up and running in order to do this. First of all, we need an online scheduler. In order to deliver an online service, we need a way to get people quickly onboarded into time slots, whether one-on-one in small groups. And there are a number of means we can do this. There's Calendly, there's Google Forms. Manju uses Google Forms, and I'm going to put her on in a bit to really speak to her plan, which I think is very robust. But there's Doodle. There are other kinds of online services that do scheduling. But it's really important that we pick something that we're comfortable with, or we can quickly get comfortable with, so that we can schedule either one-on-one. Probably we will need to schedule both kinds of meetings, both one-on-one for, say, early learner, kids who are having special struggles with worksheets, new students who need PI, this sort of thing, and also groups. I guess you could decide to do some PI in groups as well. There are a number of options, but you need to be able to schedule both kinds of meetings, one-on-one and group. Of course, there are many meeting platforms that we can use in terms of video conferencing for one-on-one. There's FaceTime and other one-on-one kinds of platforms. There's Skype, Zoom, Google Hangout, Google Meet, GoToMeeting, Cisco WebEx, Ring Central, which is offered a free service for K-12 school and tutoring businesses. And there are many others. So again, pick a platform, preferably one that you're already comfortable with, that you know how to use, or something that you can get quickly comfortable with, and get started doing some practice with people you know who can help you to be comfortable with it before you start to go live with clients. Another aspect that we have to consider is what I call checking work, and what most people call home marking or home grading. So you have to consider what your approximate percentage of home marking is at the moment. Yeah, Nafisa, I see you've suspended orientations and advised KLMS. That's good. We'll talk about that in a bit. So what's your approximate percentage of home marking? For some people, it's 5% or less home marking. Others have close to, well, let's say over 90%. I'm not going to answer questions about like specific virus things. There's lots of information about how long viruses stay on surfaces. I believe it's about 72 hours. But anyway, I'd like to focus first on aspects of, and I'm going to get to the answer keys. Yeah. Thanks, Tak. Quick message to everybody. Just click on the participants. You can check if your webcam is on or not for those who did not have to intend to have your video streaming as well. So yeah, you don't have to have your video streaming. You can turn it off. Okay. So yeah, if you're 0% home grading, it might be a challenging situation to get people up to speed. But there are ways to get your clients to grade. We have to look at logistics of getting answer books or solution manuals out to people, you know, through pickup. We have to also look at possibilities of online answer books. There are some resources that people are starting to make available for that, which I'm going to be sharing. So Manju has noted that she has a low percent of home grading as well, but the expectation is that everyone must home grade. Everyone knows the rules of the game have changed and they're willing to adapt. So thanks, Manju. I agree that we can't assume that the game is the same now as before. The rules have completely changed. We just have to get the information out, setting the clear expectation that yes, everybody's got to grade. There's no possibility of us doing 100% class grading under these circumstances, and give them the means to do so, either the paper books or having online answer books. And we need to provide them with grading guidelines and tips so that they can get up to speed easily. Oh, March is your conference month. Okay, great. And Shirley, good to hear that you have already 100% home grading. Well done. That would make it a much more seamless transition indeed. Somebody notes also, no one can pick up the new homework unless the old ones are returned. Yeah, that's a great policy. So actually that leads right into accountability and quality control. I'm going to be sharing some resources online after the meeting in an online email to all participants. So part of that is going to be the link to the Dropbox. I think there's a Dropbox and there's also a Google Drive where people have posted PDFs at OneDrive. Yeah, okay, great, from Adia. Anyway, I will be sending those links in the follow-up email. We have to think about accountability and quality control, you know, in terms of what's going on with, because if we don't have good accountability and good quality control about the daily work, we're going to start losing people. We have to know that they're still doing the work daily. We still have to have a way of making sure the work's being graded. We have to try to get as good as possible daily follow-up in terms of what the families are doing at home. So in terms of new students, we have to answer questions for ourselves about whether we want new students right now. Some people closed that, said, no, I don't want new students. Others are still enrolling students. Some people have established possibly a temporary waiting list. We can enroll people via a web conference. Then there are issues about how do we get forms filled remotely, logistics of testing online. In terms of people who've already been tested, of course, it's easier. We can just follow up with them. So sorry, the question is, will I post my, oh, Ankita has posted the drive. Thank you, Ankita. That's a big help in terms of those are for the answer books. What are the, so that's in the chat, everybody, if you want to just get into that drive file. What is the PP slide? What do you mean by that? So you can only have one conference at a time normally. Oh, PowerPoint slides. Oh, oh yeah, of course, yeah. You'll be able to get a copy of this presentation, sure, in a follow-up email. That's easy for me to just email it to you guys, and I can also save it to a drive to send the link to people who weren't able to attend. So the next question was about if we upgrade Zoom by paying how many conferences. Yeah, you can only really do a conference at one time. So, oh, okay, I see. So, so one of the files is math and one is reading. Okay, yeah, good to know. All right, so yeah, I'm getting a lot of questions. So two separate links for math answer books and reading books there in the chat, people. So about multiple repetition and monitoring achievement tests. So that's a great question. Achievement tests actually are a separate question, which I'm going to deal with in the Q&A because I don't have a slide for that. Let's just go on with the presentation because people have a lot of questions, and I am actually going to have Manju and others who are going to volunteer to share their plan in more details. But let's just go through the general things that we have to get a plan on. Picking up, dropping off, logistics. Some of us will need more or bigger pickup boxes to make sure that everybody can pick up their work. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't probably want to have 4 classes at the same time. We'll discuss a little bit more about logistics of how to schedule people later. But no, you wouldn't want to try to run 4 classes at the same time. That's not a great idea. So that would just be really, really challenging and hard. I just wouldn't advise it. Yeah, in terms of, sorry, I accidentally forwarded up. Need to go back. Going forward. Sorry, people. I wanted to go back and I messed myself up. Just give me a minute here. Just going to minimize this and go back to the slide that I was at. We discussed online schedulers. We discussed meeting platforms. Let's just see where we are. New students. Yeah, we talked about new students picking up and dropping off. Yeah, so we have the issue of, it's going to get back to the slideshow. So more and bigger pickup boxes, picking up and dropping off times, possibly during what were our center hours. We have to consider the use of homework organizers for those using CMS, and also scorecards for parents to record work if you don't have CMS standard. And you can't use the homework organizers, you can also send scorecards for the parents to record work to help you with the data entry once the work's dropped off. We also have potential contamination issues in terms of handling the work when they come back. As far as I know, we don't have any enrollment forms available online. Of course, you can create an enrollment form. And Manju says you can hold off or schedule on a staggered base where there are not too many people in the center when a test is scheduled. Yeah, there are a number of ways that we can certainly do this. So yeah, in terms of potential contamination, I suggest possibly if you're worried about, if you've got like a lot of cases out there and you're worried about the worksheets themselves being contaminated when they're dropped off, you can Make sure that your staff are using gloves when they're handling the worksheets. Obviously, frequent sanitizing of tables and so on to keep the virus contamination down is good. Staffing considerations are also very important. We obviously, if we're running virtual classes, we'll still need staff to prep work for picking up. We'll need staff to record results, monitor that the worksheets were properly marked. We might need to schedule our staff differently in terms of social distancing. We might need to schedule staff differently for other reasons. We have to consider if staff are assisting us with virtual classes, so that's staff time. If they're doing so from home, that's a possibility. They could log in from home if they have a good internet connection. That's something though to check with staff, because it's important to have a good connection when you're doing online meetings, and if their connection isn't good enough from home, that is a consideration. I'm not going to watch the chat for now. Please feel free to follow it as your really great comments and suggestions happening there, but I'm just going to go on with the presentation for now, and then during the question period, I'll go back to the chat. Some other considerations. First, scheduling follow-ups for retention. I think that this is going to be very important to follow up with as many people as we can on an individual basis, either through emails, through texting, through our sort of group texting, through any means possible. We want to make sure that our clients understand that we're there for them, that we're really, that we're available if there are special things that come up, questions, that we have time slots for one-on-ones for students who are really struggling with something. There are possible supplemental activities we can put on to support people, like having a story time, setting up a private YouTube channel and sharing that with our reading students, especially like the EL, to kind of have a fun thing for them to watch. Parents can do that. We know the parents are going to be absolutely going out of their minds with small children, having them around 24/7. Possibly trying to work from home and looking after children at home. People can have some very challenging situations that we don't know that they're dealing with. So any kind of support we can provide parents, maybe giving them some mini lessons on some key trouble spots and worksheets. These are all things that we could do via private YouTube channels. What I would recommend to parents as they're logging into online classes is to use a tablet or a phone to connect to video from home. They could use a laptop, but it's kind of hard to angle a laptop so that we can see both the student and what they're working at. Whereas a tablet, you can lean it up, or a phone, you can lean it up so we can see the child and their worksheets as they're writing on their worksheets. And our staffing efficiency in these circumstances. We're going to have to consider how to staff efficiency. Yes, Ray, if you could please mute your line. Thank you. Printing is important. We know that it's very important that the students are printing their work properly, but monitoring the quality in real time is going to be challenging. And even if you're doing a one-on-one with somebody, it's going to be difficult to see what they're doing on their worksheets because of video quality issues. Maybe some of our technical experts will have thoughts on that kind of issue in terms of video quality, but that's one of the things we've noticed in tests, that it's hard to actually see the worksheets. So when scheduling, one consideration might be to group similar levels together and maybe to schedule math and reading separately. These are just ideas. There's lots of ways you can do this. The point is you have to sit down and decide what works best for you. Yeah, I can't, I have too many people on the line to be able to find out who, oh, thank you. Somebody who had some noise on their line, but they seem to have muted. Thank you very much. We have like over 100 people online, so we're gonna have to ask you to keep muted. Thank you. Some further considerations are that having something in place sooner rather than later is going to help our business tremendously. I can't stress this enough. Our parents are looking to us for leadership and professionalism. Having something really solid, really clear in place that you're communicating with your families. They know exactly what's going to happen. They know where they're going to find updates as the situation changes. They know everything that's going to happen. This is going to help a lot in terms of maintaining the viability of our business. Sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to mute again, please. Please mute your line. So if you have orientations, if you've, like I said before, if you had a test but you haven't started, they haven't started in Kumon, and you want to enroll them, follow up as soon as possible to arrange the enrollment. Don't let them slip away. Don't let them think that you're not going to enroll them because of the crisis. As Manju said before, update your voicemail, update your e-page if you can. Update your Facebook page. Not everybody has control over their Facebook or their Google page, so you may not be able to do that, but update whatever you can online so the people know what's going on with you. Now we're going to go to the question period, and first I'm going to ask Amanju to unmute herself so that she can just share her plan.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me, Nicole? Okay, perfect. I just very quickly, we closed our center on Thursday. We have closed it for 2 weeks as of now till the 25th because the schools in our area have closed till the 31st. So we're kind of going, piece by piece. I was anyway planning on giving students 2 weeks of work, that class, so we were prepared for that. The announcement came at the end of Thursday, so by that time we had already given students the work. So we were lucky we didn't have to scramble around. Barring a few students who didn't come on Thursday, we were able to give everybody 2 weeks of work and everyone was situated. Radhika, my center is in Connecticut. I will show you very quickly. So the first thing I did was I did update I did send out the emails to all the families telling them the center will be closed and that more information will follow. I did not want to take time to put all the information together because I knew that would take time. So I just told them more information is coming, but for now, please be aware the center is closed. The voicemail was updated, the e-page was updated. Then over Friday and Saturday, I spent a lot of time to put things together, and I'll show you that really quickly, and then you guys can go and look at it afterwards. Nicole, are you able to unshare your screen so I can go and show, because I can share it. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so I am going to show you guys something, hold on, let me just go to my homepage and then I will show you. So I'm hoping everybody can see the page. So if you can see on the center updates, I have put basically that the center will be closed. Arrangements can be made for pickup of work. So what I put a few forms in place. The first one is if they want to pick up work. So they click here. If you're comfortable with making Google Forms, this is the easiest thing to do. So it just says, pick up work. They put in their name, they put in their email. They write the dates they want to pick up work from, the date they want to pick up work till, when would they like to pick up the work. We did say up on top that
Manju, we can't see your screen.
You can't see the screen? Oh, I'm so sorry. Hold on 1 second. Thank you for letting me know that. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay. Is it visible now? Yes, okay, perfect, thank you. Sorry about that. So I go back. Are you able to see my homepage right now or no?
Yes,
Yes,
we are
you are.
able to see it, Manju.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So this is the homepage. Just under center updates, I put the center will be closed till blah, blah, blah. Arrangements can be made for pickup of work. So this is where the parents can click. They got all this information by email, but I made it kind of comprehensive so they can go back and look at it too. So when they click here, it brings them to a Google form that they can complete. And it's very basic. I did not go fancy at all. I just put in basic student name, parent name, email address, from when they want to pick up the work till when would they like to pick up the work and at what time, just so that we could plan it accordingly. If they wanted the workload adjusted, some want more. They're like, oh, my kids are home. They can do so much more now. And then some are like, no, 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 please give them less because, you know, we are trying to get into a structure. And then they submit the form. And when they submit it, I just get it as a Google Sheet. Can you guys see my Google Sheet? Yes? Okay. Yes? Okay. So this is, and these are the requests that have come in over the last few days. We have already processed everything till the 18th. That is till tomorrow. So this is, with this, I'm able to reach out to the parents individually if I have questions, clarifications. And then once it's ready in the mailbox, I just send them an email and say it's ready for pickup. So it's been very seamless, and I was very lucky. I have a staff that lives close to the center. So she's been going in and doing this for me because she's anyway my pulling and packing person. I was traveling the last 3 days to get my son home from college, so I wasn't even home. But for me, it was very easy to monitor all this. And everything is situated as of today. Everybody who wanted work has work. So it's a fairly easy thing to do. The other thing that I did do, I'm not looking at chat right now. I'm sorry. We can get to the questions afterwards. The other thing that I put in place, this I put a lot of work in. So is we put in, you know, what we're calling the alternate learning plan. So it's in our center resources page. The first 2 documents are basically what I created for this this situation we're going through. And you guys can read it. It's on the website, so I'm not going to spend too much time going through it. You guys can go through it, but it basically, we said, you know, I put in some of the areas, online resources available to it, students, reminding them that they can text me, they can email me at any time. Effective Tuesday, March 17th, that is today, I've started 15-minute online sessions. Now remember, we don't have to schedule an hour's online session with a student. If you think about in a classroom environment, when you have 30, 40 kids in the classroom, how much time do you really spend with a student? Few minutes. So remember, don't overextend yourself by trying to give a half an hour session to a student who normally comes for one subject. You don't have to watch them write 2 + 2 and 3 + 2 constantly. That's a waste of your time, and you are going to be exhausted by the end of it. So make it critical, make it for those who need help. This access is available. And going by, you know, the way we instruct, we can go in and out very quickly. We can guide the student, and then it's up to them to do the worksheets. You don't have to babysit and watch them do the worksheets. I'm not going to do that. I know there are instructors who are going to have those group sessions. I'm not. The ELPI are the only exceptions, and I'll think about that if the you know, the closure continues. But for now, these are consultation sessions. So all the parents have to do, again, I did not have time, so I made it as a quick sheet. And all they do is they go into this online scheduler, and you will see I have a meeting with one student at 2 o'clock today. Nobody else has really booked anything now, but these are just 15-minute sessions that I have booked based on my schedule and my availability. So remember, you don't have to be available 24/7. So the students just go in, and yes, I know the drawback on this sheet right now, anybody can go in and overwrite and stuff, but this is going to my families. I'm hoping they're not going to go knock somebody out and, you know, write random stuff on it. So for this week, I'm going with this. Next week, I may change the tool, but this week, I just needed to get something out. And then when they click into the portal, they can decide whether they want it to be a phone call, a WhatsApp video call, a Skype video, or Zoom meeting. These are the 4 platforms I'm offering. That's all I have. They have to pick one of these. And that's what we do. So this person I have today at 2, Oscar, who is struggling with age 38, rightfully so, has scheduled a Zoom meeting. and you know, it's a 15-minute session. And after I finish this and I have my lunch, I should be able to do that. So this is what we have put in place for scheduling. Hold on, I lost my document. So that is one tool. And this I'm going to update on a weekly basis. So next week, depending on what the closure status is, that's what we told our parents. We will send them a weekly scheduler. That gives me a chance to do my stuff in life too. My kids are home too. I'm not going to be glued to a laptop 8:30 to 9 in the night trying to help students. So my one request to all the instructors is, remember to take some time out for your sanity, for your downtime, for your morning walks, whatever it is that you need to do. Don't make it all about distributing worksheets. Take your time out. And for those of you who are in the L study group, do your L worksheets. This is a good time to do that. Okay, I did sound them off for staggered class hours. This is something we are thinking about. I haven't put a firm class in place, but essentially it would be, we will limit the number of students who will be in class. We will limit the number of staff members who will be in class. We will change the layout so everybody is really spread out. We will, clean between sessions, all that stuff. So I kind of have sounded them off on it, so they are mentally prepared that this may be coming. And for people who don't want to use it, they're well within their rights to still come and pick up. So this I'm going to fine tune next week. So this week I have time to think about it, but I just put it out there so that the parents are not worried that, oh, we are never going to come to the center anymore. This is where I spoke about the home grading, saying the expectation is that the work has to be graded. So if they don't have a grading book, they're reaching out to us, and we are sending them either the hard book or the online book, whichever way that works. I did put in simple home grading guidelines here. I uploaded this document onto my Google Drive so they can access it. And it kind of gives them briefly how to home grade and stuff if they have never done it before, just so they are not scratching their heads. So that is there. And hold on, I'm almost done. So we spoke about the home grading, but then here was the thing, like, how are we figuring out what the scores are? So we did say parents are also expected to enter the scores on a weekly basis on the score sheet. That will be emailed. So that is my job for the next 2 days, is to email everybody, the scorecard, print it, PDF it and send it to the parents. I think I'll have to do it one-on-one. I don't have a choice, and I'm okay with that. I'll spend that time. They can either take a picture and email it to me or text it to me, or they can also submit the scores online. So again, a very easy Google form that I created for submitting scores. And all they'll do is they'll put their student name, they'll put the subject, math or reading, name of the person submitting this form to me. That's important. I want to know if it's a student or the parent doing it, just so I know, knowing my students, I know who's going to fudge the data. So I need to know who's submitting the form, from which date they are being entered. And then there are instructions here, and you guys can follow through afterwards. So there is a process in place to submit the scores. So that way I get the information on a weekly basis. And I did say that if it doesn't come in by Friday midnight, it's a late assignment. It doesn't mean anything, but it gives me a chance to email the parents on Saturday morning that, hey, your scores are still due. This way I'm monitoring if the students are actually doing the work, and they have to submit the scores before they pick up new work. So that is that. And then it's just, talking about communication, that over the next couple of days, we'll share tips from other parents, blah, blah, blah. So this is kind of putting it all in one place, letting them know what is going on. And then the last resource that I created, I can go to that really quickly. This one I created on a free online tool that is called Canva, C-A-N-V-A. Just, hold on, let me see if I can, I'm just going to go, and again, like I said, you guys can see it later. Just little tips for reminding parents, set up a specific Kumon time, set some goals, blah, 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 home grade, get help, reminding them that they can email, text, schedule online, and also like have fun. So just a little study tip for them, like, you're not doing this alone. We are here with you. So this is on the website. This is under resources. It also links into resources from the homepage. So if somebody is on the homepage, they can go here and get it. So the idea was one place, they have all the information. And yes, parents are still confused where to do the online thing. So all I'm doing is I'm like, go to the website, you'll find it there. Go to the website, you'll find it there. And it's been easy so far. I haven't had, anybody express any concerns about, I really don't see how this is going to work out. So far, so good. Okay, that was my little spiel. I don't know.
Thanks very much, Manju.
Okay, I wasn't monitoring chat, so Nicole, if you were, you can answer the questions.
Oh, there are lots and lots of questions. Mostly not about what you're asking, but I think the main question, gave the link to how people get to your website so that they can see this on their own computer and click through the links and everything like that. Someone thinks you should lecture at Kumon University.
Okay, then.
I agree. I'd have you there in a flash. But I think the main question is like how you actually create a Google form. Is there like, do you have some?
I did it. I mean, for those of you who've done my study groups, I'm comfortable with Google Forms, but I will tell you this, guys, and Nicole, this is, I'm just thinking of it spontaneously. If you want to do a quick webinar for the members, how to set up Google Forms, we could probably do a quick session and kind of do an online demo. But I promise you guys, it is so easy to create. You don't need any technical knowledge. You just need to know what kind of information you want to capture. And it takes minutes. It really takes minutes.
Okay, it looks like we have some takers for that online.
Yes. But I think we should. I mean, I really think we should help each other out in this case, because we are literally, there's no point for anybody to reinvent the wheel. We're all doing the same thing in our centers. We all want to do the same things in our centers. And I promise you, once you create one Google form, you're going to be like a Google form crazy person like I am. Like for everything, I want to create a Google form because I think it's so easy.
It's true. She is crazy. But in a really good way. And the nice thing is I never have to create Google Forms. Usually now I will. But I don't have to. I just say, Manju, would you create a Google form?
Yes. So yeah, I'm the Google form advocate for all, but I really do think they help. I really do. And it's easy. The parents don't have to create a login. They don't have to do anything. They just type it in. I use it always for my summer scheduling, for, pickup of works. Everything in my life relating to the center is a Google form. So we will definitely schedule something, and then I'm sure Nicole will send out that email to whoever is interested in coming. Sure. We'll do it soon. Because I know it's needed sooner rather than later. Yeah,
sooner, probably later this week then. Yes, she's a ray of sunshine. And
okay, for anybody honestly who's listening, you can copy whatever you want from the website. I really don't care. I mean, it doesn't impact me. And then if you have any questions or even any suggestions how you think something can be better, reach out to me. It is, my email is on the website, so you know how to reach out to me, or you can WhatsApp me. For those who are on the study groups, they know my WhatsApp stuff. So yeah, copy away by all means.
That's awesome. So I also wanted to, because we still have about 20 minutes in our hour, I still wanted to just ask anybody else who wants to share about their plan. I know that there's at least a bunch of you. I had a poll here. Well, 65 people who voted. There were 10 of you who are all ready to go and shared your plans with your parents. So does anybody want to speak to their plan, what they're doing? And you can just basically type you're volunteering to talk about your plan in the chat. And somebody's asked if anyone's still open now. Actually, I was going to put another poll up about that. Let's just see. So we have quite a few of us still gathering information, not quite launched. So I can end this poll, and I can share the results. And yeah, actually I can stop sharing the results. I wanted to launch a new poll about whether people are, what are people doing about orientations? Yeah, actually, that's a great thing to discuss. How you do testing, because we haven't talked about achievement tests, or achievement tests are an ongoing issue. Do we do achievement tests? You know, how do we do achievement tests? Manju, you must have given some thought to doing achievement tests.
Like I said earlier in the chat, the honor roll months are done, so the pressure is off. Nothing has been scheduled as of now, but if we do go into the staggered class situation from next week, then it's just a question of scheduling it that way. That is one. I have reached out to my FC just to confirm that having staggered hours is in no way going against, you know, the state directives and all, where they are advocating, you know, not to be open. So I have asked them to consult the legal team on that, just to make sure we're not violating any, you know, policies, even though we will be taking care that we don't have more than 10 people in a center at one point of time. But for now, I'm waiting clarification. And if I do get something to the opposite, I'll put it up and make sure all the members are informed. But I'll probably, if we go to staggered class hours, then, you know, it's a matter of holding it off for another week, 10 days till we are ready for that mode, and then we can do the test then. But I'm not going to do it online. I'm so clear on that. There is no online test happening. No.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. One, the testing is not necessary according to the instruction manual. The testing is just to confirm whether the student is ready to go on to the next level, and that you can make the decision without the testing. That was always the Kumon philosophy. And then second, Bergen County has just announced that starting this Saturday, they're only allowing certain types of stores to be open. Gas stations, liquor store, pet store, food, grocery stores, and all other businesses will be closed in Bergen County. I have been allowing the low-level testing kids, like levels A through C, to test it at home, have the parents bring it in to me, and then I will check it and return it back to them, whether they passed or not. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. And obviously this is going to change. We're all across North America, you know, provinces of Ontario has declared a state of emergency. So we don't really have very much option to do anything in person in Ontario right now. I mean, besides the pick up and drop off. So, so yeah, we're going to be very limited in what we can do in some areas. I suspect that this is going to expand across Canada and the US over the coming days, and we will lose the ability to do stuff in person. So as far as achievement tests, we don't have to worry about them because we can evaluate kids in other ways. That's a good reminder. About placement tests though, did people have any ideas about continuing to enroll people? And you know, if you couldn't meet with somebody because your center had to be closed, and so you couldn't meet with them even one-on-one, how would you evaluate a student without being able to administer a placement test?
I mean, if we are having trouble administering a placement test, I would seriously question enrolling the student at all, because what kind of support are you going to be able to provide, and what use is that going to be? So if you can't find a way to meet the person and do the placement test online, I mean, in person, I'm just saying hold off your enrollments and be comfortable with that decision you're taking. That's my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's certainly a very valid opinion. You know, other people are mentioning in the chat that they're not doing placement tests and not taking new students. There's been a lot in the chat, so it's possible you have a question and I've missed it. If that's the case, if you could just please retype your question into the chat. We still have time for question and answer. We still have time to consider a number of other parts of our class in terms of what we're doing. Some people are mentioning that they've had Indra, sorry, has said that she's had quite a few people cancel on her. Alice is asking if there are any other apps for more interactive online sessions. There are lots of apps, Alice. There are so many apps. You know, it really just depends on what you want to do. And I don't know if there's really a lot of use in just like going through, but Google's your friend. Just look and see what's out there and see if there's something that you would like to do. So as far as handing out worksheets, if there's a full lockdown situation and nothing is allowed to be open, then you might have a harder time handing out worksheets. For the situations that we've had up till now, as far as I'm aware, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, there's still the opportunity for worksheet exchange, just as, you know, in the province of Ontario, even under a state of emergency, restaurants can still, people can still go to a restaurant to pick up food, even though they can't eat in the restaurant. So there is that possibility, but from region to region, the rules are going to be different. You have to make sure that whatever you're doing, this is very important, whatever you're doing is correct in your area, that you're operating legally as a business in your area. Don't do something that is not actually legal, or, you know, we really want to be professional. We want to make sure that we're upholding, you know, what is correct to do. So please just make sure for your area day by day that the way you're still operating is still possible. And if not, that you have a good way to communicate with your families. Asking people to email you for questions and clarifications is always a good move. People need to know that you're really open in terms of, you know, anything, any kind of help they want. Manju suggests if people want to play around with the forms, you can enter some dummy data and just play around with it. Just don't play around with the online scheduler, please. Thanks. So you can use Manju's form to experiment as long as you don't do something that's going to mess her up. Good move. And then some people, this is another sort of flip side to the enrollment issue. Some people are coming to us saying, school's not helping us, they're closed, you know, indefinitely. Can you please allow me to enroll? I need help for my child. So we have to be thinking, what is the best move now for our business at this time? Is this an opportunity? We can be actually a hero. We can rush into the breach and say, yes, we can be here. We can supply you with daily worksheets. We can provide, you know, support either through online classes or one-on-ones or all these different ways we can provide support. We're not going to just leave you in the lurch like the schools, you know. So there are some possibilities here in terms of what we're going to do. One person asked about an assistant hesitant to come to the center. If you've done proper cleaning and the center has been closed over any sort of weekend period, like a 3-day weekend period, I'm assuming that at least have 2 days for your center to be closed. With a good cleaning, there shouldn't be any viruses lingering around. There should be any problem, especially if the place has been thoroughly cleaned. So other questions, staff, what do we do? That's a little bit vague. I need something a little more specific. Like I said, in terms of staffing, if you can still open, like if you can still go into your center, not open to the public, but you can go into the center, you could theoretically go into the center with the staff, prep the worksheets, you know. Delivering worksheets. I've heard of some people who have offered to mail worksheets or responded. I wouldn't say offered. I said, you know, somebody said, oh, I want you to mail worksheets to me. They've said, oh, I'll mail worksheets. Sure, sure. You know, I haven't offered to mail worksheets or deliver worksheets. I don't know if that's a sustainable plan. Anything that you choose has to be sustainable. Is this something that really you're willing to do? Like, say this continues for the next 2 months, 3 months. We don't know how long this is going to go on. Just make sure that whatever you offer is something that you can do on an ongoing basis. So hand delivering worksheets, um, or even mailing out worksheets. I don't know. Are you willing to do that?
Nicole, this is Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
I have a question for everybody. There's at least in the US, there's the Kumon offers temporary hardship subsidies for families. I have used them sparingly in the past, but just this week I've had 3 families discontinue because the parents, depending on their jobs, are no longer receiving their income. And so I'm trying to decide if this is just a short term and I just wait this out, or for these families, do I go forward and try to apply for a subsidy to keep them on board? I'm, like I said, I'm just not sure if this is too short term to be considering subsidies, the temporary hardship one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. You know, Minu says you can apply for the subsidy. I don't see any harm in applying for the subsidy. I mean, how could it hurt? You know, why wouldn't you, as Manju said? You know, so I would just say, go ahead and apply. If people come to you and they say, hey, you know, we have no income coming in now, that's a really good reason for me to apply. Kumon may respond to 10,000 requests for subsidies saying, guys, that's Kumon's decision. That's not on us. You know, at least if we are saying to people, hey, we understand, sure, you know, here's the form, you know, let's get started on your subsidy. You know, any subsidy for us? Well, you know, that's a whole nother discussion. Oh, Minu says you've done in the past during government shutdown. That's good to know. And Kumon responded positively to that, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I had in fact 3 families who wanted some help. In fact, they wanted to quit because they did not know until when this scenario would continue. So I reached out to Kumon and we were able to get the waive off subsidy, I mean the reduced royalty for 3 months. I mean, we did not know at that point of time how long would the government, you know, shut down go in US, but it was really helpful for these 3 families. They were able to do it for me.
Thanks. And I just say in response to what somebody else said, you know, you have to distinguish between my inside and my outside voice. I'm sorry. I really didn't see when I was talking about schools, I didn't use my inside and my outside voice properly. I wouldn't with my outside voice diss what schools are doing to anybody. Schools are doing everything they can. They're in an impossible situation. I always, when I'm talking to parents about what teachers in schools, I always support schools, praise them, say they have, you know, impossible job. I was using my inside voice there saying, this is an opportunity for us as business owners when schools can't help to go in the breach, to help families. So thanks for helping me have an opportunity to clarify that. Tak, you said that arguably it would take more resources spread out over greater hours if schools remain closed and we are to continue to support through distance learning, not a let them pick up and forget them type of service. Well, I agree. And this is why I'm talking about a proactive approach of coming up with some kind of plan besides, okay, well, there are the worksheets, good luck. Call me if you need me sort of thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that in the short term. I think people will be very understanding over 2 or 3 weeks. I'm more concerned about the long term. If this has to go on for 2 months or more, I'm concerned that we have a robust and supportive enough plan that people can really know that, hey, this is worth the money I'm paying every month. I'm really getting something, good bang for my buck here in terms of not just worksheets, but actual live support from people. So in terms of paying our staff, you have to check your local employment laws, always check the legislation, people. Whatever I tell you for Ontario isn't necessarily going to be true for BC or whatever state you are in the United States. So please make sure that whatever you're doing with regard to your staff, if you're closing down, if you're having to lay off staff, make sure that you do the right thing by them. If it's employment insurance or whatever it is, make sure that they get whatever they need. Indra, in terms of grouping people, I was actually thinking of the possibility of saying, hey, we could have everybody say from I don't know, up to level D, not necessarily all together. Obviously, people with big classes couldn't do that, but you could group people like E and F together. You could group like G to I. There are different possibilities. Yeah, in terms of recommendation from an IAC member here, email iaccanada@kumon.com. Anything that you want Kumon to do for you, by all means, email them, say, hey, Kumon, we want help, we want reduction of royalty, give them your wish list. It can't hurt. Unified voice to sway the decision, absolutely. I mean, that's why we have an association. We have to decide if we're going to speak with one voice, what's our message going to be? And that's another conversation, probably for another meeting. There is a downside to grouping people according to levels. Then what happens when we pick up with our usual center, and then people are like, oh wait, I like these sort of grouping together according to levels. So to everything, you have to think of unintended consequences of any decisions you have to make. You're collectively sending emails about reduced royalty in Pennsylvania. Okay, good, great. I don't think there's anything wrong with, people, for example, if you feel that there's enough energy out there about reducing royalties and you wanted to, try to work on a petition or something, you wanted to, basically contact, we have a couple of chat groups, we have the association forum, just basically see if there's people who are going to get behind you, and I'll sign that, it's doable. But you can also everybody can also individually email the IAC. That's another way. I mean, the idea of a collective is a great one. And as I said, I'd like to explore that in more detail in another call in terms of a situation like this, where an association really has a lot of power with, say, I don't know, 1,000 members, 2,000 members. You can basically really, sit down with the company and say, this is what the membership wants. We're not at that situation yet, but we could be if everybody signs up and joins the association. But in a situation like this, if you just had 100 people, 200 people, say out of 350 people in Canada, 200 people emailed them and said, hey, Kumon, we think you should reduce royalties. That's a significant number of people. Kumon would pay that whatever weight they could. Ultimately, the decisions are made in Japan. So, how far you're going to get with agitating in North America isn't a whole nother question. So you said that ISC is going to meet tomorrow. So yeah. So if you give support, then they'll be able to sort of say, hey, we got all these emails about this, and so we want to talk to you about this. So great to know that the ISC is meeting. Super.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, these online sessions, okay, it is something totally new to me. My only question is, like, if we are doing these online sessions from home, does that mean that we need to have like all the worksheets with us? Like if someone is doing like 4A reading, 21 set, so that means that I also should have one along with the student, or like how are you planning this?
Yeah, well, if you're say you're working with an EL student one-on-one, then you'd pretty much need to have the worksheet available. Yes, that is a consideration. So because you're not going to be able to see their worksheet, you're not going to be able to know if they're reading it properly or whatever. So, so yeah, you would need to have the worksheets with you to be able to follow along. Somebody says that they have all their binders at home. So I guess if you have all the binders for all the levels, then you could use that. I don't think I do.
I was just wondering if we are doing a Zoom meeting or a Skype or WhatsApp video, we would be able to see the worksheets as the student is doing it, right?
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a technical thing. So you can see the worksheets. You can see that there are worksheets in front of them. You can see that the students are writing on the worksheets. You can't actually read the worksheets. I don't know if you've done tests with anybody, but like I've done like little tests. We're doing some testing yesterday, and I couldn't actually see anything that was on the worksheet that was in front of her.
Nicole, I've done Skype sessions with a student before over the summer when they were traveling, and I always have them position the video on the worksheet, not on them. So I always make sure the angle is positioned there, just because for me, looking at them doing it is, I don't know what they're doing, but the way they are, you know, solving it, or the way they are writing it, or the way they're holding a pencil, if it's an early learner, all those things. So I always say, I don't need to see your face. I just need to see your hand and the worksheet. So yes, that can be done. And, you know, I think it was Feroza asking that question. I could be wrong. I'm just going by
Yes,
voice
it was.
recognition.
Yes, it
Okay.
was. Manju, you recognize my voice now.
I know. So if you don't have the worksheet, I mean, like this session I'm going to do at 2 o'clock with Oscar, I don't have H38 on me. I'm going to simply tell him, you know, same thing, position the video. And if I need to look at the question, I'll tell him, take a quick picture and send it to me so I can see what the question is. But there's so many ways to work around it. So if you are sitting at home right now and you don't have the worksheet, it's not the end of the world. But next time you go to the center, yeah, I would say just grab them. I mean, they're just sitting at the center. So
yeah. Manju,
yes.
This is Parizad. I had a quick question.
Yes.
Hi. So when that means the student needs to have a phone or a camera or something that with a tripod that's pointed on the worksheet, right? I'm just trying to understand the logistics.
Yeah, so again, it depends. It could be just a phone call, but if they are trying to use a video tool, they can sometimes the parent holds it for them. If they don't have a tripod, the parent will just hold the video thing for them, and we make it work. And if it's something like a Zoom, then it's a desktop, right? So you are hands-free, assuming they're using it from a laptop. But again, they could be using it from a device. So it really depends.
But then at that time, the camera is pointed on towards your face, right? Because the camera is on the screen.
Right, but you know, if you're using it, sorry, I know someone else is trying to say.
Logistics.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say one thing here quickly, and then, so Parizad, Manju, what I did, I asked the parents, because they are using the phone, they are using tablet, and they might use the laptops. So laptop is easy. You can just pull the screen on top of your worksheet. But with the phone and tablet, it was difficult. So yesterday, what I did when I was doing the online session, I asked them to put 2-3 books. On top of that, I said, flip it down. Don't see what is on the, so screen is up. They are still seeing me. And the camera is down on the worksheet, and I could see very clearly the worksheets.
Well, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
That's a good idea. See, creative, combine resources. We figure it out. Okay, thanks for that, Atya.
Hello?
Hi. So we're gonna go into overtime. Anybody who needs to go can go. But I know that people have a lot of questions. I don't want to cut everybody off. So, you know, I will keep recording this, but I mean, we're not going to do this all day. But we'll go for another few minutes. Alice, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Hi, I unmuted myself. I was just going to say that, again, some people have been texting me and saying, you know, they couldn't connect or some for whatever reason. So where will this recording be available again?
I'm going to have it available on the IAKF website. I'm also going to send links to the chat groups, the WhatsApp chat group and the Telegram chat group, because these are where we've been talking. Like a lot of organizations during a crisis, IAKF is concerned to have resources available to everybody regardless of membership. So these kinds of conversations we're opening up, we're allowing people to have the link to watch the webinar, even if they're not members of our organization. We think it's important that we all band together and that we all share our resources together. We do encourage you to join though. Welcome all new memberships. We are stronger together. So the bigger that we become as an organization, the more effective and clear that our conversations with Kumon North America will be.
Okay, so the IKF website I know of, but the chat groups, are you able to email everyone again with the links or instructions on how to, you know, get access to those?
I can put in the follow-up email to this, the instructions on how to access the admins of the different groups. I'm not an admin of either group, but I've been emailing people privately. I'd appreciate being able to do it in one big email because I've been sending people individual instructions on how to get connected with these things for days now.
Okay. Do you have access to all the instructors in the BC area? Because I may get access, so if you give me instructions, I may be able to, you know, forward them.
Yeah, yeah, that's good to know. We actually have a complete email list that we have put together of everybody. It's an updated list too,
Okay.
of Canada and the US. That's what we use to send out our newsletters. So if for whatever reason anybody is in our newsletters, you should let us know because you should be on the list. But yeah, thanks. We can get in touch with everybody, but appreciate the offer. So I just want to thank everybody for taking time to be on this call. I think that concludes, like, I think the bulk of what people have. I don't think this is going to be our last conversation. I think we have to have more conversations. We've already established that we have to do at least one more this week, where we do a bit of practicing using Google Forms with our favorite Google Form master, Manju. So I'm going to confirm. Find out when she's available so she could lead us into that. That probably won't be very long. I imagine we could do something like that in about half an hour. And we could also record that and make that available to people who aren't able to join at that particular time, because we're not going to pick a time when everybody can do it. We never can. We will share information through newsletters and IAKF forum, chat groups about any other meetings that we're having. Thanks everybody. It's really a pleasure to work together with so many fine minds and hearts, people who really care about their students, and we're all trying to find ways to meet their needs. So I'm gonna end the meeting now, and I hope you all have a great day. Remember, as Manju said, take time for yourself. Take time for yourself. Take time to breathe some fresh air, go for a walk, you know, just hug your loved ones, just do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better. Please don't watch the news all day. It's really bad for mental health.
Thank you so much, Nicole and Manju and everyone. It's so nice to be able to, you know, gather together like this and, you know, have these ideas, and hopefully this is going to be a kick in my butt to get started. We have spring break this now, so I'm like, okay, this is spring break. I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's do it. Okay. So
thank you.
Bye,
Goodbye,
Feroza.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye everyone, I guess. That's the meeting.